What's up, everybody? Here at Olympia Fitness with Maddie Morgan or Madison Morgan. The reason I brought Maddie in here today is because when I first started in strength and conditioning, Madison was one of my first clients, or at the time, this was 2000. I actually just looked. It was 2016 is when I first met Maddie. How old were you in 2016?
I think 13.
So Maddie was 13 when I met her. And what have you been up to? What's going on now? I know you're about to graduate college and you're currently in exercise science. So I found that really cool. And this is why I wanted to have this conversation.
Yeah, I'm a junior at URI right now, studying exercise science, specifically strength and conditioning. I'm also a personal trainer at The Edge right now, working part-time with clients one-on-one, teaching small group classes.
Awesome. Yeah. Full circle. So
yeah.
The funny thing is like when I met you, Maddie, like in my head, I'm like, here's a shy 13-year-old girl. And, you were kind of like me when I was that age, like very reserved to yourself. You didn't really have a massive smile on your face at the time or anything. So I was kind of like, make sure she's just enjoying being here. And it's not just about, work hard, work hard, work hard. I wanted to kind of make you feel comfortable in here, get to know you a little bit, and then build from there. And fast forward from 2016 up until now, it's safe to say we've accomplished that. And I find it really cool that you're off in the real world training people as well. So when I met Maddie, because she was like so shy and I didn't really know what to expect, to see you training clients and finding enough interest in this to be pursuing a career in this, I just thought that was awesome. And I wanted to ask you like what your experience was here when you first started. Like what was going on in your mind the day your dad told you like, hey, I'm bringing you here? Like walk me through that.
It was definitely scary. The first time I came here, it was a 6 a.m. class with people my dad's age. And I was definitely intimidated. And then I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to do anything. And that was scary at first, but everyone here coached me through that, especially you. I feel like I worked one-on-one with you a lot. And it was a lot of like, hips up. It's just engraved in my head now. And just starting with like, I don't know, just breaking me out of the shell like slowly by slowly, and like meeting everyone here was definitely super welcoming. And I learned like it's not about the exercise most of the time, because I wasn't here to be a Division I athlete like ever. I never had that goal. I just didn't want to get hurt playing. And it just helped me learn to love exercising, and now I want to help other people learn to love exercise the way they helped me.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. And like Maddie just said, it isn't just about exercising. Like obviously that's why we're here, is to help you get fit or whatever the case may be. However, there's so many sort of like life lessons to learn in the weight room. And there was a coach that I went to a conference, and a coach had something to say that really resonated with me. It's like, I learn everything I need to know about somebody by how they carry themselves in the weight room. Like, do they work hard? Are they receptive to coaching? Do they just kind of go through the motions? Are they a leader with the people around them in the group? And one thing I noticed about Maddie is that she always came in with a positive attitude and ready to work. And in doing that, I'm sure it helped you grow as a person in terms of like, not everybody loves to work out every day, right? There's days where you don't feel like doing it, but you come in and do it anyways. So were there ever times like that where you were kind of like, overcoming those barriers that were telling you, I kind of want a rest day, but it's on your schedule, you have to do it?
Yeah, definitely. I was in here a lot too at one point. I think I was here like 5 times a week, and I'd be like, okay, like enough of that. Yeah. But like in the conditioning at the end, for example, I wouldn't want to do it. And like some days I would be like, oh, I can't do it, and leave. But then I learned like that was not the way to do it.
So funny you say that.
It just kind of carries into other parts of life now too. Like I've noticed, and like what I signed up, so I had to come. So then I ended up coming. I never canceled on them, so I ended up here. Yeah. Whether I wanted to or not.
It's a good sign that you were raised right.
Yeah.
My parents did the same thing with me. Like if I started something, I had to finish it no matter what. And I think there's so much value to that. That just translates into real life. Let's talk about some of your client. Like you're currently a trainer. Any like success stories, any clients that really jump out to you when you think about, or anyone you started with that's still rocking with you to this day?
Yeah, I have someone that I started with. Her goals were just strength and mobility. She didn't want to worry about numbers on the scale, any of it. And I really liked that because I never worried about that here. It was just, how much stronger can you get today? and she stuck with me the whole way through, which is great. And then on a completely different note, I had a 13-year-old athlete, so I knew how to train him from being here. And he got diagnosed with a brain tumor, and he had to cut some things out of his schedule, but chose to stay with me. And it was just kind of like, it brought me back to when I was here. Like, I would have definitely chose to stay here the same way. He found that connection.
It's awesome. Yeah. And yeah, it's one thing of like, you know, from somebody who's been doing this for, I think I'm coming up on like 7-8 years, is there's times where you feel like you're kind of just going through the motions, but then you have those clients that, you know, you may not realize at the time when you're going about your day to day that you're making such a strong impact on their life in one way or another. They might not come out and vocally express it to you each and every day. Not like we're expecting that, but
I definitely didn't.
Yeah, moments like that. Yeah, right. Maddie definitely didn't, but you know, with you, it was kind of like a project. Like, you know, week 1, it was like, oh, I got her to say hi to me when she walked in. And then it was like, you know, fast forward a couple of years, now Maddie's walking in with a big smile, asking me, you know, how was your weekend? What have you been up to? I'm like, who is this girl?
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, coming out of your shell in the weight room, and I always give props to people for trying something new, because it's never comfortable. We see that a lot, and not just like kids, 13-year-olds, like in our adult clients, like walking into a new gym, not knowing what to expect is literally terrifying to the majority of people. Like I've always wanted to do yoga, but I'm always a little bit subconscious of thinking about like, oh, are they going to be cliquey? Am I going to be standing out to everybody?
Yeah.
You know, so I always want to give props to that. So with that in mind, do you have any advice to people who may be struggling trying something new, whether it's something like this or like Pilates or yoga, whatever? Somebody who's struggling to kind of get started in something.
I mean, we've all said it before and heard it, that like everyone starts somewhere, but there's always someone in the room that's going to help you out, like whether that's an instructor or the people you're around. Like, no one's there to watch you fail. Like, they're all there to help themselves. So like they want you to succeed too.
Yep. So you're finding that right place that works for you. Yeah, and like thinking back, like when I was 13, I did not have any experience like this. Like I never had the luxury of doing structured strength and conditioning or exercise programming. I just remember my grandfather gifted me a bench press and a few dumbbells, and it was in my basement. And I was like, what the heck do I do with this? And then you just show up to your sports tryouts and hope for the best, maybe do some laps around your neighborhood to get conditioned. But, you know, I think that gives you a really good advantage to experience it for yourself at such a young age. Like, does that help your programming at all?
Definitely.
Would you say? Okay.
I feel like everything I learned here is just applied. It's not even the education as much as the experience, for sure. Years of being here taught me so much. Because I like to ask why I was doing what I was doing. Even
the best type of clients ask the most questions. No, that's good. Like sometimes I get clients who are like, you know, I'm sorry to bug you, but it's like, no, like you're literally paying us to ask these questions. We want you to ask questions. This is how you're going to grow. If you keep doing the same thing, you're just going to keep getting the same results. So we'll find a way to make progressions.
Yeah. I definitely hated asking questions too. Like,
yeah, it can be awkward.
Sneakily walk up like, hey.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same way. I'm more of an introvert myself. So when I got this job, it was a process for me as well. Like I'm still not the most vocal person in the world, but if somebody comes up to me or is on my schedule and they come in with that positive attitude, it's like I completely shift into a different person, because it's like we're gonna lock in for this hour or hour and a half session and get it done. And so would you say, so for me personally, like you're in college, you're about to graduate with exercise science. I did a similar study program at Rhode Island College, but I would say 95% of the information that's the most valuable was learned actually interning here versus being in the classroom learning. Like obviously we got to know the Krebs cycle, glycolysis, all that good stuff, but I'm sure for you as well, like being in the field is probably the most beneficial.
And hearing from people in the field that I work with that have been in it longer than I have definitely helps too. And like hearing the perspectives, but just working with all different people teaches me like more about exercise than anything else.
I was going to ask you, like, what what's something that you learned while doing the training that you didn't think you'd learn or you didn't learn in the classroom? Like any kind of like light bulb moments that went off, or is there something you've learned that caught you by surprise?
Not specifically. I think more about myself, that
Mm-hmm.
people kind of come to me for like a friend more so than like I want to lose X amount of pounds. Like of course they're there for like the exercise, but like I've learned that it's more about the connection, at least with me,
Mm-hmm.
that people come for than necessarily their workout sometimes. Not obviously they're there for their workout. But in training, I feel like I've learned more so it's not always like cut and like I don't know, like I can't give everyone the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
even though it feels like you can. Like everyone's gonna squat, like they're not, and like just things like that.
Yeah.
Learning that everyone is so different. We know it, but like actually applying it is so different.
It's true. No two bodies are the same.
No.
So it can be a challenge when you're doing like a large group setting.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have to do much of that?
I have like some classes, but they're not huge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's always fascinating watching a group of people do the same exercise because everybody just looks vastly different.
Mm-hmm.
But trying to think anything else that we haven't talked about. I think that just about covers it for me. Let's cut it for now, take a break, and if we think of any other questions, we'll add on.
Okay.
All right. Hopefully it was recording.